So since I made the other video the other day, my friend mentioned to me that the screen was adjusted to, yeah, because I was filming it vertically. So this one will be horizontal, and hopefully that looks a bit better. And if not, I'll try to figure something else out for it. But today I'm going to talk about journaling. I'm going to talk about what journaling actually is to me, like why I do it, why I've spent over 5 or 6 years, I think at least at this rate, consistently journaling. I have had periods where I'll take like a month or two off or just some time having a break, but really I don't take any time off of it. It's one of the only things that stayed consistent in my life, next to like breathing and shitting. Journaling has been there. So when I got into journaling, when I was in my like late teens, I think I kind of always saw it as cool. I saw it as like this wispy poetic thing. And I remember I'd like have friends over sometimes, and I'd be like, I knew they were coming over, and I'd have like my journal and my pen, but I'm just thinking about some stuff. And it's funny because it wasn't purely ego gratification. I did actually love what it was, but I don't really, like anything, I didn't really know what I was doing until it took me a bit of time to get into it. And I think as I started to get more serious about it, and by that I mean I was investing hours and hours out of my week and sometimes out of my day into doing it, I started to really see that it's like, wow, this is actually one of the times where I feel the best in my life. This is one of the times where I feel like I'm most myself, and interestingly enough, where I feel the most safe. And I've been wondering about all this recently because I made this channel, as I said in the last video, about self-expression. Everything here is fundamentally self-expression. That's what this platform is for. That's what I consider to be my passion. That's what I like the most about life, is finding ways of expressing myself and getting more nuanced and enjoying that more and more and more. And I see it to be ever going, and unless I just stop growing or get hit by a bus, in which case there'll be no more content. But yeah, journaling is the main thing that I'll do before painting, before communication. Journaling is really what I get the most, what I love the most. So I was thinking a little bit over the last couple of days. I was sort of contemplating, like through a journal, as I do, what is it actually about this? Like, why would I, like almost every day, like I wake up, I go for a walk, I come back, make a cup of joe, and I sit and I journal. And it's like, why do I do that every single day? Without question. Why is it that is it? The only times I can't do that, or there have been times where I've had shifts in jobs I've had where it's like I have to get up really early and go, or the one job I had last time was the only time I ever had to do that, where I had to get up really early, or I've been with someone in the morning and it's just not like appropriate to sit and journal in the dim light of a salt lamp for like 2 hours. So usually though, if I have my way and I'm by myself, I'm going to be sitting and journaling. Why do that every single day? Like I've said, to the point where I have over 20 journals filled up. And on top of that, by the way, also over 100 hours definitely of audio recordings as well, audio journaling, which was something I gave a try and I've sort of come out of now because I find that it doesn't really capture what I like the most about journaling. But I've also walked around speaking to myself for a lot of my life. When I was younger, anytime I had an opportunity to, when no one was home, I'd sort of double check everyone was home and I would just speak out loud, and I'd borrow from future tense versions of myself. I would express something in detail. I would mull over conversations and interactions I didn't like. And this has all just been like, I think at some point I've stopped trying to turn off that need to express like that. I've wanted to turn it into something instead. So what is it? What is it about? Well, first and foremost, I think that journaling is like, it gives me a safe space to actually jot down and clarify the absolute whirlwind of thoughts and feelings and experiences I'm having inside of myself every day, whether it's sunshine or rain or sun, rain or cloud, whatever. And if I'm having a good day or if I'm having a terrible day, there's so much information I feel like is I'm both receiving from the outside and from what I'm reading. Like I think the material for me in any domain that there's any interest in is incredibly potent to me. And also just general like self-observation. Like even if I'm just by myself in a room, there's so much I'm recognizing about myself and about the environment, and it can get very broad and very existential a lot of the time. And I think that if I think I start to get antsy when I don't have a way of sort of clarifying that to myself. And over the years, what I've realized is journaling for me is pretty much that. It's a way, because what you're really doing with journaling is you're taking your inner experience and you're transmuting it through the use of symbols, these like words that you write down. You're transmuting it into a structure, right? Like you're structuring your four forms, you're crystallizing your four forms. And when you look at that, it's like, wow, it's a way of sort of putting my inner experience into something in front of me. And this in itself is the sheer catharsis that this provides alone is healing for me, I think. It's healing, and I said safety before. I said I felt safety. I do. There's no time that I feel safer usually when I'm sitting quietly, maybe a bit of ambient or something music-wise if it's later in the day. Like for some reason I don't listen to anything in the morning, but later in the day I might play some ambient. And there's no time I feel safer. There's no time I feel more myself, and it's because I am high in FI, right? Like introverted feeling. And it's like, for me, that introverted feeling, that introverted thinking is so prominent that it gives me a little bit of like, I'm plugging it into something. So the sheer catharsis that comes through actually sitting and being able to express myself is highly pleasurable to me. I don't look at journaling as a very constructive, forward-moving activity. I look at it more as like, this is a great joy and a great pleasure to me because I actually get to release and to help make sense of what's going on inside of me. Because if I have a million things going on, if I have a million thoughts, a million assumptions, the assumptions are the killer there, millions of thoughts, millions of assumptions, and I don't really have the way of like crystallizing it into something and making sense of it, I just feel like I'm like, what I wrote down yesterday is I'm like jumping stones in a hurricane. It's like everything's moving so fast and I'm like just trying to find a ground. Where when I'm journaling, it's like I have to be decisive. I have to be decisive. I have to like pick something and follow that thread once I've begun. And this is just, this just feels incredible to me. This is just really when I feel like most myself and most alive. And yeah, and that's what I would call like expressive journaling to me. It's clarifying that, and it's also like the nuance and the intricacy that comes with doing that over time. It's like its own system, and it's a very, very personal, very private, yet very vivid system that I've created for myself, where like there are little things like I'll write little arrows like on the top of a page and the bottom of a page, so when I turn it, it's like a continuous point. And that was a small thing that just I must have came to me one day when I was like 18 years ago, and like it stayed because it's just my way of doing it. And you don't, it's like you might think, oh whatever, it's just some, you know, little idiosyncrasy, it's just something, but it's like, no, this is how I've personalized my platform, because it's a platform for me, right? And on top of that, my excessive use of Oxford commas. I use Oxford commas like a motherfucker. And the reason I do it is because that's kind of how I speak, you know? So the journaling, over time, it's like it's started to match how I speak and how how I would present myself. It's like, it's interesting how it can match. It's almost like an outer equivalent, a correspondence to what I'm going through within. And sometimes I'll be like in a really low place, low energy, not feeling good whatsoever, like just really feeling defeated. And if I sit with a journal, the writing is a lot slower, and I'm just finding a ground to experience what I'm feeling. But other times, and I like to think more oftentimes, I'm more buoyant and more like curious, I think is how if I could use one word to describe myself, really, I'd say it was curious. I'm a highly curious kind of person, and I think yeah, journaling gives me that platform to have found a lot of intricacy, a lot of detail in the way I do things. So I really like to play around with that. And even recently, I've been doing like little sketches in the journal with my left hand, with my eyes closed. Like I'll write something down, left hand, eyes closed. I'll do a little sketch, and then it's like a Rorschach because it's like this thing makes no sense. It's just darted like disjointed calligraphy. And it's like, and I'll make sense out of something out of it. And it's like, wow, it's interesting. It's like I get direct feedback, and whatever it is, I get feedback from something that I'm just, it's like it helps me see how I'm interpreting things. So yeah, and really this is about like understanding, right? It's like where you stand and you're standing, understanding, like it's where you sit. And when you're like me and you think really quick and you think about a lot of things, it's like having an understanding, having a place to enact from and to embody and to be from is really useful for me. So there's some of the things that I really get out of journaling, but mostly it is just that pure enjoyment of sitting and being able to express myself. And it's crazy because sometimes there's like a cascade for me. Like I'll be writing something down pretty simple, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like I was in Starbucks yesterday and I was just sitting and writing, time's going by, and I'm thinking about something specific, and then it's like I'm thinking, oh yeah, but also it's like, and then all this, and it's like I can't even catch it, and I have to feel some of it. I just have to let some of it be pure feeling, but then what I can catch out of it is like, oh yeah, this is really what I want to do. This is okay, all right, yeah, and then I can focus on those things and apply them. And this is all what I'd call like expressive journaling. The other kind of journaling that I do, two books here. These are two journals I have right now, and this more like level one. This is for all expressive journaling. So all of this would be personal details. But this one I have is a contemplative journal, and this is like purely just for contemplative, actually like thinking and constructing. It's not really it's more like questioning. I'm using this black journal here to break everything down, and they're always the two kinds of journaling. They're what stuck to me, and it's largely been a spectrum for me, because purely expressive is I'm not really looking for anything. I'm purely just giving out, really. Where with the contemplative journaling, I am taking a lot more in. I'm not looking for an answer as such, though, mind you. I'm looking to ask the question in a way that I can really seriously ask what I want to ask. I can really penetrate into what I'm asking. And that could be what is society, what is culture, what is philosophy, what is skin, what is an idea, what is a thought. These are really fascinating things to ask. And right now it's been largely about what do I want to create? What is the value that I want to provide to people? What do I want to put myself out there as in the world? Who do I want to be? What kind of man do I actually want to be, rather than just who do I think I am? But yeah, that would be more contemplative journaling. And I think over time, I think I'll make something more about contemplative journaling versus expressive, because expressive is where my roots are. I think that's where most people would start with journaling, but the contemplative is more, it kind of makes more sense to me to sort of split them and have one, rather than like just always overlapping them. Although I have done that, I find that it's better to have two separate ones, one to break stuff down and one just to purely express for the catharsis and for the sake of it. But yeah, there are some thoughts on journaling, why I journal, and why it's like basically like my favorite thing in life, or one of my favorite things in life, or at least it resembles one of my favorite things in life, which is being able to express what I care about the most and make sense of myself, because I think that's what we're all trying to do, right? We're all trying to make sense of ourselves in some way, but this is a more direct way of doing it. So yeah, thanks for watching. I am writing blog posts, like I'm writing the blog post and making the video on the same topic right now. That's what I'm trying out first. But to put the blog post in the description, I need to do some like identity check, because YouTube needs to know that I'm not I'm not pretending to be me. because obviously. So yeah, I need to be able to do that before I put any sort of links in the blogs, but that's okay. I will figure that out today, and then I'll come back and edit these and put the blog posts in the description. So thanks for watching, and yeah, hope you have a banging good day.